So in Puglia, we use potato in our dough, and that's what makes it so moist. It gives it depth of flavor. And of course, it's, you know, a cuisine of the poor. Potatoes were nutritious, and we, anything that we had, we used in our focaccia. It's great to be here at Pizza Expo 2024. I am very excited, even though it took me 100 hours to get here last night because the flights were delayed. So I didn't sleep, my dough didn't have time to properly rise, which makes us pizza chefs crazy. But I'm very excited, and it's so fantastic to see the colleagues and to share our war stories from the past year. And all joking aside, he is from Puglia, where my mother is from, and today we are going to do authentic Apulian focaccia. Who knows what the secret ingredient for Apulian focaccia? Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
He's with me. Don't listen.
No. Time? No, but that's a good answer. That's important. Does anyone else know? Anyone?
Time.
Anyone? What goes in the dough?
What flu?
Potato. So in Puglia, we use potato in our dough, and that's what makes it so moist. It gives it depth of flavor. And of course, it's, you know, a cuisine of the poor. Potatoes were nutritious, and we, anything that we had, we used in our focaccia.
Are you using powder or real potato?
I'm using real potato. Don't be funny. Get over here, Chris. Come here. So when I introduced focaccia in my restaurant, I mean, I'm known for Neapolitan pizza. My father's from Naples. I'm putting bread flour and double O flour.
You know, I forgot to come in my flip-flops today.
Why were you in flip-flops?
When you come to your restaurant work, flip-flops in the kitchen.
Oh, yes. That's lovely. I have, can you help me instead of just like, you know, being the comedian? Okay, we have mashed potatoes here. You can season it with your own herbs. And this base is really important because when you have focaccia anywhere, it's really dry and not very good. It actually annoys me because I love focaccia. I'm very proud where I'm from. And focaccia is something that we use. The leftover focaccia, we make croutons in the Caesar. We use it for my meatballs, so we get a lot of use out of it. And ever since I started it, we're using it with the whipped Galvani mascarpone, and we're using it with so many different toppings. Once you learn the base, I'm going to do some great toppings. And I want to make sure, Billy Manzo, where are you? Billy, get over here. Can you make sure, because you put that it's cooked inside before we cut it? I like to feed people as I demo. So I already have one that's cooked, and we're going to pass it around, the basic dough. But I just want to make sure that it's cooked because our oven isn't working so well. Okay, so we have the mashed potatoes. We have herbs. This is just yeast and water.
Are you using fresh yeast in here?
I am using powdered yeast.
Powdered yeast.
Because that's what I was doing.
And what temperature is your water at?
It's tepid.
Tepid?
It's tepid.
Tepid meaning room temperature?
Everyone's a wise guy. Everyone's a wise guy until I'm in the judging table, and then everyone's nice.
Oh, that's right. I gotta be nice to you.
Check out my Instagram. I just did the top 10 tips on how to win a competition because everyone grabs me and asks me, so I wanted everyone to know how to win. Tomorrow I plan on judging many people. Okay, so we're going to put the potatoes in. I know I'm using my hands and I'm not using rubber gloves. They are clean, and if you don't want to eat this sample, you don't have to, because I'm not going to use rubber gloves right now. It's been a long day. Okay.
I think there's more germs than rubber gloves.
I think so too.
I'm with you on that one.
I think so too. We like to use our hands. We're
Isn't it true that at 500 degrees everything gets killed off?
It's true, although we cook my focaccia at 425.
When you go to sanitation class, they say, no, that's false, right?
They do say that's
Yeah,
false.
bacteria grows no matter what temperature. Right? But I am in that spot where you are and say, yeah, it kills it off, 500 degrees. But that's for the last thing.
Okay. Now we're going to add in I already added in the dry herbs. Now I'm going to add in a lot of oil. You know, in Puglia, where the best oil comes from, we call it liquid gold. So there's a lot of olive oil that's used in my focaccia. We're going to mix it some more.
You're basically using that as a flavor profile, right?
This is what we call leading questions. Go ahead.
No, because
No,
like
talk about it.
when I make my focaccia Pugliese, I take the oil out now because it comes crispier. Because the oil makes things soft. So I tend to put the oil at the end.
I put oil too. I can't believe who from Galvani invited Lenny here today. It's like I'm in the kitchen with my grandmother and my mother, and no matter how many awards I've gotten,
I moved the knife already. So
they all know better. They all know better. I do put a little olive oil in for the flavor and the potato for the flavor as well. Okay,
You want a little at a time or all at once?
whatever you want, baby.
All right, a little at a time. That's what you need.
You can use KitchenAid, low paddle. I like using my hands. It gets a lot of stress out. As I said, because it took me 3 hours to check into my hotel last night. And I am using Galvani cheese today. Mascarpone, I feel like everyone uses it just for the tiramisu, but I use it in my focaccia, which is about to come out. And I added some Cracker Barrel cheddar, which gives a lot of body to the mascarpone. So this combination is coming out, and I'm going to do a different one here. Keep going. Andiamo, andiamo.
Yeah. Maybe we should do this all in Italian. Simply understand this.
If we do it in Barese, no one will understand.
The dialect is horrible. All right.
I mean, it worked for my parents' marriage. I think that's what the success was. They didn't understand each other because my dad was from Naples and my mother was from Bari. So they didn't understand each other. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And I didn't take my rings off. Do you have some oil on your hands? Will you need this for a second?
Sure.
Because I have to check on the focaccia. Hold on.
Has this got rosemary in it?
No, that's not the oil that we need. A little flour. And I'm going to show you then what this looks like.
All right, go ahead. I'll take
I need a little flour on my hands to get this off. It's a little trick. How to get wet dough off your hands. A little flour. The only way to get him to stop talking is to put him to work. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay.
You're so cute.
I am cute. I'll be right back. Talk.
Talk. All right.
Yeah.
Kneading this dough that you made.
It's very. My mic went off.
My mic is off.
It's okay.
So this dough is very sticky, which should be.
Thank you.
This dough is good to do stretch and folds with.
I think they need to cut it and give it to the crowd. Let me show it to them really quick. Billy, will you show the finished product?
How about a round of applause for Billy helping out?
Yay, Billy!
Thank you, Lloyd Pans, for loaning me the pan. It's topped with mascarpone and cheddar, cherry tomatoes. I mean, the classic focaccia is with cherry tomatoes. I added mascarpone in my first restaurant, and it was always a huge hit. Now, I want you to see what this...
That's beautiful.
Watch it wiggle.
Oh, wow.
See
How'd you know it was gonna see
wiggle.
that?
Will you jiggle it too under the camera?
Under the camera.
let's switch.
Yeah, because it didn't. If it doesn't happen on camera, it didn't really happen.
I'll sing it again.
Look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, I love the feel of dough. Okay.
So that's what it looks like, Chef.
All right.
Okay.
Let's cut it up. I hope it's cooked properly. The ovens here are a little off, but it's still pretty good, I'm sure.
So I had this idea to compete one time with this style of crust. What would you think of that? If I made a pizza out of it?
I mean, I'm obsessed with focaccia, and I'm obsessed with the use of potato because it adds a depth that people don't know about.
I chickened out.
You shouldn't chicken out. You gotta go for it. I need a little more olive oil. You need a lot of olive oil at the bottom of the pan. A lot more than you think. It kind of fries it and adds a golden crust. I mean, this is not good for weight loss, but this is the time to do it. And the quality of olive oil matters. If you get from Puglia extra virgin, cold pressed olive oil.
And that's how it should be. Nice and sticky, stretch, right? You're doing it?
Yes. And you need to let it rise. We didn't have much time today. We let it rise for like a couple of hours.
Yeah, this is not a 2-hour thing.
No, I only had 2 hours for this dough. But normally in my restaurants, what do? Christopher? It's his first time in Vegas, my protege. How long do we let it rise for, Chris, at the restaurant? We usually keep it in the refrigerator so it does a slow rise and then take it out the next day and put it in the kitchen because there's more depth of flavor, obviously, the longer the rise.
Usually between 24 to like 48 hours. The longer you leave it, I like to leave it actually for 48 hours. And that's what gives us that little jiggle
Look.
of love for the focaccia.
Look how pretty that is.
Beautiful.
It is.
Now you're just don't have to do much work now.
No, not.
It's kind of like last year when you did the deep dish.
Didn't we make
Now
your
you
pizza
serve that
last
after
year?
you serve deep dish at your restaurant, I heard.
I do not serve deep dish at my restaurant. I serve Neapolitan pizza, and then I serve focaccia. I represent both sides of my family.
Is your pan important to you when you're baking this off?
Is
A
what?
lot of people, like I use coated pan versus this pan. Do you find a difference?
Oh, big difference. I want
You want a coated pan?
I want a coated pan, but this is all we have.
Because it retains the heat.
Because it retains the heat. This is a very unique topping I'm going to make today. We need the thin mozzarella. Galbani just came out with thin mozzarella, which is great. It's even. And I know every restaurant or pizza guy understands how difficult labor is. So the more we can use products that are consistent and have less waste, the better. Because my life at the restaurant is Groundhog Day. I repeat myself every day and they still don't do what I'm saying. I use this in the fall. Apples, hot honey. I think it's a very traditional crust with a very untraditional topping, which is a lot of fun. I need a little more thin mozzarella. And then I have sliced apples that I want to dip in a little olive oil so it doesn't burn. Keep going. Keep going, Chris. Can you cut the focaccia and start handing out samples? Oh, thank
Billy
you,
Monzo
Billy.
to the rescue.
Billy Monzo to the rescue. We have live samples being served right there.
Wow, you're putting the apples on the pizza? That's like putting pineapple on a pizza.
It's not like putting pineapple, and it's not like putting hot dogs and french fries on pizza. This is taking in my American heritage and fall. And I love apples and hot honey, and it's a winner. And I have a little, gorgonzola. Interesting. If my mother was here, I'd be saying the same thing, like, what are you doing putting apples on the pizza? But how much do people love it, Chris? They love it, right?
That's delicious. They're obsessed with it.
Some shallots, will you? Will you add some shallots? And then we're going to put it and some hot honey at the end. It is so good. Let me hand out some of the focaccia. Let me make sure it's good.
He wants it to rest.
Something.
So when does this nice cheese get put on?
There's no salt. We have to add a little Parmesan.
When do you add that?
This was for the other focaccia that we put right here.
Ah,
I want everyone to see. It's so moist, we just forgot to add a little bit of Parmesan and salt at the end. Hold on one second. He's doing it right now. Billy to the rescue. That is it. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. If you compete and tomorrow you don't win, please don't hate me. I love everyone, especially all the pizza chefs.
what's the
And
number one tip? Forget 9876543 What's the number one
the
tip?
number one tip for guys competing,
Yeah.
make sure you know the oven that you're competing in so that you don't burn your pizza. Sorry, and make sure that every judge gets a slice that has all the ingredients on it, because when you're tasting 50 pizzas and they're all good, one might not have a piece of basil, and that might determine. And make sure you make the pizza for you, not for what you think the judge wants. So stay true to who you are, but also know the competition. And if it's Neapolitan pizza, it's not time to get creative. So,
That's great
yeah.
words of advice, because before, when I started competing, I would make the pizza, make it look nice and pretty, cut it, and then everything would fall off, right? So now, I cut it, then chop it, and then serve it canceled.
There you go.
That's a good point.
How? Isn't it delicious? Isn't it gorgeous? You guys like it? It's so moist. This will cook for about 25-30 minutes at 425. You know, you have to know your oven. 425. I'm going to put it in now, and it'll be available to eat in about 20 minutes. Let me put a little salt, a little extra virgin olive oil on top, some herbs, and then after it comes out, I just put some hot honey on it, and I go.